Lewis Hamilton reveals plans for the future after winning fifth world title. The Brit secured the championship in Mexico 2 weeks ago and heads to this weekend's race in Brazil knowing the title is wrapped up. His victory this season puts Hamilton level with Argentine driver Juan Manuel Fangio, with only Michael Schumacher ahead of the pair on 7 championships. Is 33 and is contracted to Mercedes until 2020, having signed a new £40 million a year deal earlier this season. But he is already concentrating on his life post-racing, and has plans to help future generations. "I have a lot of things that I want to do," Hamilton told. "I get tons of messages every day asking me if I want to do this or that, and it is about focusing on which one has the most impact or is the most meaningful." At the moment it is focusing on racing. "But as I get to the tail end of my career, that is going to shift, and I'm putting in the building blocks so I can work on those things. Education is one thing I want to get involved in. I'd like to meet government heads and understand the curriculum they are giving the kids. I remember being at school and there was never a discussion with a teacher about encouraging someone to become an engineer or how to get onto that path. If I was to do something with schools, the priority is in the UK. I also cannot understand how we stand by and watch all these kids trying to get into racing and parents taking them out of school. A lot of parents maybe home educate them, but 98% of those who don't make it end up with no opportunities. I remember struggling at school, and geez, if I hadn't made it, I would have fallen flat on my face, and we didn't have a lot of money." Former F1 star Mark Webber believes Hamilton can match Schumacher in the years to come. "The sky's the limit. He still looks like he's pretty young mentally in terms of energy, and he could probably go for Michael's record," Webber said. 7 is totally on the table. 8 is only one more, but the difference between 7 and 8. To win the next 3 on the bounce is a lot. 7 is doable, but 8 is the big one. Related articles: Brazilian GP Practice 2 results, Valtteri Bottas holds off teammate Lewis Hamilton. Finland's Valtteri Bottas, who has yet to win in a season dominated by teammate Lewis Hamilton, set the fastest time of 1 minute 08.846 seconds on an overcast day at Interlagos with a few spots of rain. Hamilton, who clinched his 5th title in Mexico last month with 2 races to spare and now has 5 stars on his helmet, was a mere 0.003 slower in a session briefly halted after Renault's Nico Hülkenberg crashed heavily at the tight Junção left-hander, one of the key bends on the track. Ferrari's Sebastian Vettel was 3rd fastest, 0.073 off the pace after complaining of something loose around his feet, and ahead of the Red Bulls of Australian Daniel Ricciardo and Dutch youngster Max Verstappen. "The car has been okay, but not good yet, so still some work to do," said Vettel. "We are in the ballpark, but I think we can still launch forward from where we are." Mexican Grand Prix winner Max Verstappen had been fastest in the opening session, with a lap of 1:09.011, but was sidelined at the start of the second session as Red Bull worked to fix an oil leak. "They think it's something that might have actually started in Mexico," said team boss Christian Horner. "It compromised his track time, but we got enough to get some good data." Verstappen can still become the youngest driver to take a pole position on Saturday, but the 21-year-old played down the chances of that happening. "I had to go a bit too quickly through my program initially, and I had some traffic as well. It's not ideal, but I don't think we are going to fight for pole position anyway," he said. Ricciardo will have a 5-place grid penalty after the team changed the turbocharger on his car before the start of track action. Horner said it had been damaged in Mexico by a marshal spraying foam on the car after he retired from the race. It ruined the turbo, and the other turbo that Daniel has in his pool was on the engine that failed in Austin, said Horner. And Renault say that every time they've run a turbo after a failure like that, they usually stop after 400 kilometers. We don't really want to put him in that position. Mercedes will retain the Constructors' Championship on Sunday if Ferrari fail to outscore them by 13 points. Hamilton finished fourth in Mexico and has a habit of not winning again in a season where he takes the title early, something he is keen to end. Haas were best of the rest in the morning, with Romain Grosjean and Kevin Magnussen 7th and 8th. The pair were then split by Sauber's Charles Leclerc in the afternoon. Magnussen's car also shed a wing mirror during the session. Antonio Giovinazzi, who will replace Ferrari-bound Leclerc next season, took Marcus Ericsson's car and was 13th fastest in the opening session. British teenager Lando Norris, another 2019 rookie, was also on track in Fernando Alonso's McLaren for the first session and was faster on the quicker soft tyres than the team's departing Belgian Stoffel Vandoorne on mediums. Force India also gave a practice outing to Canadian Nicholas Latifi, who was bottom of the timesheets.